Man's Search for Meaning is the best book I have ever read. It has impacted millions of people, including myself, and I'm going to explain why. It was written by a man named Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor and a psychiatrist. He is the founder of Logotherapy, which in my opinion is the only interesting form of therapy at all. And to be honest, this book completely changed my life. The first half of the book details Viktor Frankl's experiences in the labor camps and the death camps during the Holocaust. And the most fascinating part is how psychiatry tries to contend with the just pure evil coming from this time period. It also provides a first-hand account of the experiences during these labor camps. And it shows you truly just how fucked up human nature can be. As he writes in the book that some of the higher-ranking prisoners were more cruel than many of the guards. It really is like looking into the most nefarious, the most evil possible prison experiment. And the events of the book are obviously incredibly sad, but it's also very interesting and very inspiring. While trying to survive in the death camps, Viktor Frankl discovers something that would change psychiatry forever. Prior to the Holocaust, Viktor Frankl had already been working on this thing that he called logotherapy. So in therapy, psychoanalysis looks into the patient's childhood trauma or their past in order to determine what the hell is wrong with you. It's essentially saying, well, you're like this now, and so surely that must be because something in your childhood happened to make you like this. And while there is merit to psychoanalysis and that kind of therapy, at the end of the day, the past is the past. You can't change the past. You can only come to terms with it. And so this idea of logotherapy looks more towards the future. Logotherapy is essentially the therapy of finding meaning in life, hence the title of the book, Man's Search for Meaning. I think this whole idea is far more interesting and far more practical because it turns out if you have meaning in your life, you can endure an infinite amount of suffering. Viktor Frankl believed that there are two ways to find meaning in life, but during the Holocaust, he discovered a third way. And that third way is really the purpose and the point of this book. The first two ways to find meaning are either through creating, essentially creating great works, finding meaning in what you do and what you create. An example would be like writing a book. And the second way is through experience. It would be experiencing beauty, experiencing other people's great works. So an example would be like reading a book. Also experiencing art, and most importantly, experiencing love. And speaking of love, I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about this moment in the book that anyone who's read the book will know where I'm going with this. But honestly, I wept like a child reading it. For context, in this part of the book, he was starving, he was dehydrated, and forced to labor day and night in the freezing cold while he was in one of the labor camps. And he believes that the only thing that got him through all of this, the only thing that kept him alive, were the thoughts of his wife. And here's the quote. "My mind still clung to the image of my wife. A thought crossed my mind. I didn't even know if she were still alive. I knew only one thing I have learned well by now. Love goes far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his spiritual being, his inner self. Whether or not he is actually present, whether or not he is still alive at all, ceases somehow to be of importance. I did not know whether my wife was alive, and I had no means of finding out. During all my prison life, there was no outgoing or incoming mail. But at that moment, it ceased to matter. There was no need for me to know. Nothing could touch the strength of my love, my thought, and the image of my beloved. Had I known then that my wife was dead, I think that I would still have given myself, undisturbed by that knowledge, to the contemplation of her image, and that my mental conversations with her would have been just as vivid and just as satisfying. Set me like a seal upon thy heart. Love is as strong as death." Anyone who's read the book knows how heavy this moment really was. And I think Viktor Frankl here learned that love exists beyond space and time. It transcends good and evil. It transcends morality. And love is the most powerful force in the entire universe because love is God. So during the concentration camps, Viktor Frankl discovers a third way of finding meaning. And it revolves around suffering. Suffering is obviously a common and important theme of a book about surviving the Holocaust. He discovered that one can find tremendous meaning in simply bearing one's own suffering in an honorable manner, in a noble manner. It's like Christ bearing the cross. Essentially, you cannot control your situation. You cannot control and you cannot avoid your own suffering, but you can control how you react to it, how you face it. And very notably, he mentions that the people who did end up surviving these camps, the people who did make it out alive, were the ones who had this same mentality that, yes, I'm going to suffer, but I'm going to suffer as honorably as possible. I'm going to look death in the face, and I'm going to face it in a honorable, in a noble manner. Now I'm going to go through a few of the most important quotes from the book. I don't think I will actually try to explain any of these quotes because I would never want to rob someone of discovering the meaning of these quotes themselves. And besides, you really should read the book. But here are some of the most important quotes, in my opinion, to keep an eye out for. Life is not primarily a quest for pleasure, as Freud believed, or a quest for power, as Alfred Adler taught, but a quest for meaning. Forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing: your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. You cannot control what happens to you in life, but you can always control what you will feel and do about what happens to you. Here he includes a very famous quote from Nietzsche: "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." For the first time in my life, I saw the truth as it is set into song by so many poets, proclaimed as the final wisdom by so many thinkers, the truth, that love is the ultimate and highest goal to which we can aspire. Very true. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. What is to give light must endure burning. And finally, Dostoevsky said once, "There is only one thing that I dread, not to be worthy of my own sufferings." So these are just a few of the most important quotes that I took from the book. If you haven't read Man's Search for Meaning, I would highly recommend it. This book very much changed my life. It made me really confront my meaningless life, and it made me think about what brings me meaning in my life. And it turns out that led me to this, as silly as it might sound. Even if only 10 people watch this video, and even if only 1 out of those 10 people get anything from this video, well, that's enough to bring me meaning. Also, when I read this book, I was at the lowest point of my life, and it helped me a lot. It helped me to literally just face my suffering honorably. And it turns out that facing my suffering in an honorable manner and finding what brings me meaning in my life was enough to get me through the dark times. And this book has helped millions of other people do the exact same thing. So if you get anything out of this video, just know that the pursuit of meaning is the most meaningful thing that you can do. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you like this style of video, please let me know below. Thank you.